In care work, we're often handed a rule book for safety. But today, we're going to toss that whole idea out. We're going to reframe safety as a professional skill, something you can actually master. Think of it like a playbook, designed to protect both you and the people you're caring for.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. We all know this work is incredibly rewarding, right? But let's be honest, it is also unbelievably tough on the body. I mean, you're constantly navigating different homes, assisting with mobility. The physical demands are just nonstop and totally unpredictable. And that's not just a feeling, it's the absolute reality of the job.
And inside that physical reality, there are two huge risks that just stand out from the rest. On one hand, you've got those unexpected falls, usually caused by some random environmental hazard, like a stray cord or a little spill on the floor. And on the other hand, you have transfer injuries. These are the strains, the pulls, the damage that comes from the core of what you do, lifting and moving clients. So these are the two big challenges we're going to tackle today. So where do we even begin? Well, the very first play in our safety playbook is all about mastering your environment. And this isn't just about being neat and tidy. It's about actively, professionally managing your workspace to stop falls before they even have a chance to happen. Now, this isn't just some random list. Think of it as a professional routine. Let's walk through it. First, you're going to scan the floor. Look for loose rugs, cords, any little thing. Next, clean up spills right away. Water, coffee, doesn't matter, get it gone. Then, ensure visibility. Is there enough light to see everything clearly? 4, move safely. No rushing, especially on stairs. 5, and this is a big one, wear proper footwear with great grip. And finally, number 6, stay focused. That means the phone goes away when you're walking. Each one of these little habits builds up to create this huge buffer of safety. Let's just zero in on one of those habits for a second because it is absolutely non-negotiable. I'm talking about your shoes. Footwear with a good, solid grip isn't just a nice to have, it's your foundational piece of safety equipment. Seriously, it's your first and best line of defense against a sudden, nasty slip. All right, so once you've got your environment locked down, we move to the next really critical moment. The lift, the transfer, the repositioning. This is where the risk of injury just skyrockets. But we have an incredibly powerful tool to manage it, and it's called the pre-transfer checklist. Now, before we even get to the checklist, let's be crystal clear on what we're trying to prevent here. It's something called musculoskeletal injuries, or MSIs. We're talking about real damage to your muscles, your nerves, your tendons, all from that physical strain. Every single time you do a transfer, you are putting these parts of your body on the line. So this checklist is designed specifically to protect them. So here it is, the most crucial part. The entire safety procedure kicks off with one simple action: a pause. That's it. Before you ever lay a hand on the client to move them, you just stop. And look, this isn't hesitation, it's a deliberate professional assessment. It is, without a doubt, the single most powerful safety tool that you have. And in that little pause, you run a super quick 4-point safety assessment. You think about the patient, the specific task you're about to do, the environment around you, and then finally, you check in with yourself, the worker. It's a simple, easy to remember, and repeatable mental checklist. Let's break that down real quick. For the patient, can they actually help? Can they understand what you're saying and bear any weight? For the task, do you have the right gear, like a lift, and is it working the way it should? For the environment, is the path totally clear? Do you have enough room to actually move around? And finally, for you, are you actually trained for this specific kind of transfer? And be honest, are you feeling physically up for it and mentally focused right now? Answering each of these honestly is absolutely critical. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. A checklist? You want me to do this every single time? And the answer is yes. Here's why. This is not about just ticking off boxes. This is about adopting a truly professional mindset. It's about embracing the pilot's golden rule. Seriously, to be a pro in any high-stakes job, you've got to think like a pilot. A pilot would never, ever dream of taking off without running through their pre-flight checklist, not even if they've flown that same plane on that exact same route 1,000 times before. Why? Because they know that conditions can change in a heartbeat. And look at this. It's a direct parallel. A pilot checks the weather, the cargo, the engine, and their crew. You check the patient, the task, the environment, and yourself. It is the exact same professional discipline, just in a different field. This is how experts make sure things go right. This brings us to what might be the single most empowering message of this whole explainer. What if your checklist tells you there's a problem? What do you do?
The answer is clear, and I really need you to hear this. You are never expected to just do it anyway. Your professional judgment matters. Identifying a risk is a key part of your job.
So if any part of your 4-point check raises a red flag, the procedure is simple and it is absolute. Number 1, you stop. You do not proceed. Number 2, you call your care manager and you explain the situation. And number 3, you work together to replan the task safely. This isn't failing at your job. This is actually succeeding at it.
So, let's wrap this all up. The huge takeaway here is that safety isn't just something that happens by accident, and it's not some rule you follow just to avoid getting in trouble. It is a core professional skill, a competency that you build and you practice every single day.
So here it is, your safety playbook simplified. First, master your environment. That's how you prevent falls. That's your constant background safety net. Second, use that 4-point checklist before every single transfer. That's your high-stakes safety protocol. And third, know deep in your bones that stopping an unsafe task is the ultimate professional decision you can make.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. You know, we often think of skills as the things we do, but in a profession as demanding and important as care work, maybe, just maybe, the most valuable expert skill you can ever have is knowing exactly when to stop.